Well, I have stopped reviewing movies for a very long time, and I felt that I should go ahead and get back to my first love, which was reviewing movies and writing about them. So, this is a horror movie which I'm very excited about. I mean, to say, I have already watched it, and I'm extremely excited, and I would love more and more people to watch it. Uh, because this is a movie which I had a lot of fun watching. It is what what horror movies should be. Not too serious, not too draggish, not too gory. It should just have the perfect balance. It should have humor. It should have crazy moments. It should have insane kills, and it should have a lovely interplay between the characters. And that is exactly what this movie goes ahead and projects. And this is the movie which I'm talking about. It is Abigail. Every time I talk about a movie, you have to actually go ahead and see it in a mirror image. So I think you can see it here in the mirror image. And it's about a vampire. And you can't see vampires in reflection again. Um, what Abigail is all about is it's a different class of movies which has evolved in recent times, And I'll tell you what these movies have evolved from. There was a movie called Orphan, wherein you had this young girl who poses to be, who's actually a very old woman, but with makeup and everything, she poses to be a young girl, and she turns out to be the person who is very evil and all that. After that, there was another movie which came, which was called Megan, which was about an artificial intelligence, which was about this girl, a kind of a girl robot which takes care of another girl, and then she kind of malfunctions and starts killing people. Abigail belongs to that trope of movies, even though you might say that it is a vampire movie prima facie, but it is basically about this innocent, docile, young girl. I call it, Malice in Wonderland. I don't call it Alice in Wonderland. What if Alice was evil in Wonderland and she went on killing people? It's about this precocious 13-year-old, 14-year-old young girl who can't even hurt a fly, who turns out to be deadly. And Abigail is exactly that. It's about this young girl who's kidnapped by a group of people for a ransom, and then they find out, once they have taken her to a safe house, that actually she's not the one who needs protection. They are the ones who need protection from her. And it's a absolute raucous, um, a mad caper of a movie. You you will just be, uh, I don't have words, because I'll tell you something. I watch these movies at night with my wife, and if the movie is not good, we doze off. We just doze off. The movie keeps on running. The next morning we wake up and we see that probably it is something else is playing, or the the screensaver of my laptop has come up, so we just go to sleep. And we usually target a Saturday or a Friday for these late night watches. So if the movie is really not good, I'll tell you, this is the test of a good movie, to actually, like, Mr. Sobjani and his wife watches it on a late night Friday or a Saturday and does not fall asleep. That means the movie engages them to actually watch that movie till 2 a.m. at night. That means that movie is amazing. And Abigail actually belongs to that category of movies. It's an awesome movie. It plays around with the vampire tropes excellently, with minor tweaks, with some egad, oh my god moments, which will just leave you. There were certain moments in this movie where you can literally feel your blood turn cold under your skin when Abigail was screaming. And especially the creature design, they are going back to the roots They are making vampires more deadly. It is not those sophisticated pretty vampires wherein you just see a hint of canines down from your lips. It's more of a Nosferatu design, where you see all these jagged teeth coming out of the mouth. They look fierce and they are deadly. There's a lot of gore in the movie. There is even more brilliant humor in the movie. The ensemble cast is just out of the world. Dan Stevens, Barrera, Esposito, each and every one of them have just acted brilliantly, and you really feel this movie. You develop a feeling for each and every one of the characters. When each and every one of them gets bumped off, you do feel a little bad for them. And the fun part is that you feel dread, you feel scared, but at the same time you're laughing your guts out. You see Durant doing a choke slam on Abigail from over the top of the stairs. It's hilarious. It's every trope which is explored and which is tweaked to the maximum, which gives the maximum effect. I can only compare this movie to Blood Red Sky, which came a few years back, and but Blood Red Sky was didn't have much of a humor. It was more of an intense vampire movie, mixed with a hijack drama. But yes, Tale is exactly that. It is. It is something very different. It is more of a Home Alone, but a Home Alone with all these criminals trapped with a completely fierce vampire, which is a baby girl in their mix, and she's taking out each one of them. So it is a trope which has not been explored before, and the filmmakers have done a fabulous job just doing it, along with the Tchaikovsky symphony playing in the background with some punchy background music. The humor, the story, the action, everything comes together. The editing, I loved it. I simply loved Abigail. This is a must watch. You should go ahead and watch this horror movie immediately, for all the blood curdling moments and all the crazy stuff which is there. This is Abigail again. She seems to be such an innocent, sweet ballerina girl. Oh, and the acting of Abigail, my God, out of the world. There are some moments where she switches to a kind of a girl who's who's scared, and who's telling them that please don't hurt me. That switch of the emotions, where she becomes suddenly this innocent girl who can't even hurt a fly, and then suddenly she switches into this fierce vampire. Oh my God, I was just I was out of my breath. The way she was kind of switching between these characters and these personalities, it was out of the world. And let's not even talk about Dan Stevens, who plays the douchebag so well. Every now and then he does it so well. And I love Dan Stevens. He's a guy who's really not got his due, I would say. He should be a globally recognized superstar by now. Dan Stevens, he's so good, and he does a great job. Even the heroine is great. Barara is great. Exposito does a good job also. Durand is there. Each and every one of them is amazing. And I think, if you're asking me about a horror movie, the most fun I've ever had in 2024 is by watching Abigail. It is that good a movie. Abigail dancing up the staircase, walking down the staircase, jumping over the staircase, running after people. There is a certain time when things become a little repetitive, because after the third act, nowadays what happens in all these movies, there are 4 or 5 acts. Even after the third act, there is a fourth act. Now, at that point of, sometimes you know exactly what is going to happen, and you really don't know. how the movie is going to turn to, right? So there is a minor bit of strain in the screenplay when they are stretching from the third act to the fourth act, when things become a little repetitive. But still, I would say they pull it off, they execute well. It is not something which is like you feel bored. There is a point where you sometimes feel or think that now the movie is dragging, but full marks to the filmmaker that they actually stretched it a little bit. I think if this movie was maybe cut by 15, 20, 25 minutes, it would have been more edgier. But at the same time, I we wouldn't have been able to see an interesting experiment in the fourth act which happens with this movie. And I liked it. I liked the fourth act, even though the transition between the third act and the fourth act is about 5 to 10 minutes of, like, you feel a little bored. Now, I'm saying this because this movie is so good that there is not even a single second you will feel bored or you will feel that, oh hell man, this movie is dragging. But when you're making a movie like this, and which is such a perfect engine, which is like a metro train, oh please, metro train, okay, and that you feel that, hey hello, you can feel it, and that is when you say no, something's wrong. So but you can totally understand that the movie has run its course. It has gone till the third act, and this is where things should end. But they are not ending it. They're going for the fourth act or even a fifth act and trying to wrap the movie up. So full marks to the filmmaker for making it adventurous and making it to the fourth, where the whole story flips. Now, if you're going for a fourth act, always remember that you have to do something fantastic, you have to do something extraordinary, and they do it with Abigail. Because suddenly heroes become the villains become the heroes. And that's again. So, full mark to the script writer, to the person who has written the story, how they go ahead and flip everything in the fourth act is awesome. It's awesome. It's from a point of from a viewpoint of this girl hunting down the victims one after the other. It suddenly switches to something a little more, and I liked it. I like the spin in this movie, where it's more about a complex interplay of characters and how they're reliving within this time, and how things turn in the final 15 or 20 minutes is brilliant. It's a treat to watch. Abigail, must watch. You must watch this movie. There is no way. Do not miss this movie at all. This is a movie. This is one of the best horror movies of 2024, which has kind of it's a new result. The last three vampire movies which have which is a classic vampire horror movie of Dracula. Classic. I love Last Voyage of the Demeter. It is one of the best horror vampire movies I've watched, and now this Abigail. All these three movies, people can watch it. If you love vampires, you can watch these three movies one after the other: Blood Red Sky, Last Voyage of the Demeter, and sum it up with Abigail. Don't finish it up with Last Voyage of the Demeter, because that will leave you depressed. I hope you loved my review. Do not miss do not miss Abigail at any cost. Direction, editing, acting, dialogue, screenplay, story, everything. Or transition between third act to fourth act, the screenplay is little strained, 5 to 10 minutes. You can even feel it. It suddenly the pace lessens, but you need it so that it kind of falls a little, so that it can go high up and leave at such a height. When you finish with the climax, it's and there's a surprise at the end. Just watch out for Abigail's dad. Spoiler alert. So I hope you loved my review. This is my review for Abigail. If you love horror movies, if you love vampires, Abigail. Bye.